Before we get too far into this, let's make a couple changes here. First change that I want to look at is, okay, so I'm saying if my speed is greater than 300, we get the Enterprise or Space Shuttle, or saying I am in the air, Tomcat, prop plane. I'm starting to do some print lines. What I really want to say is I want to change this, and instead of saying you are in space, I actually want to say, I do want to say you are in space, but I want to do some concatenation. I want to put some stuff together. So I want to say you are in space, traveling, and now I want to, since I've already got my speed, I actually want to include that. So I want to concatenate int speed. Okay, so I'm traveling miles per hour and need the Enterprise. That looks pretty good. So let's look what I've done here. I'm saying, okay, you are traveling in space. Okay, you are in space traveling whatever speed the user entered. Okay, so int speed 100 or whatever the user entered miles per hour and need the Enterprise. So this is kind of the format that I want to apply to all of my code. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead. I'm just going to copy this. So I'm traveling in space, and we're going to go ahead and paste it right here. And this time I need the shuttle. So there's my space shuttle. And I'm traveling in the air. I won't change that, but I do need the Tomcat. And so I'm going to, instead of, whoops, get rid of that extra quotation mark, you are traveling in air. Air's good. This isn't going to change, and need the Tomcat. Well, you know what? Stop right here. Before I go doing this, I actually want, let's take a look at this too. Since I know where I'm traveling, right, because we actually have this listed as a location. Okay, string where. Why am I actually typing in space and space? Because these are string literals, and I really want to make this a variable. So let's go ahead and I'm going to replace this. So I'm going to say, well, we want to do another concatenation, and we're going to do where. And we'll add that there. That's fixed. And I want to go ahead and I want to start fixing the rest of these. So let's go ahead. But now I want to make another change. Okay, I want to, instead of I am traveling, I want to say how about I am or UI. I want it to be I am. Oh, look at this. This is UR. I've got two capitals. Look at these mistakes I have. Now, before I get too deep into this, I hope you guys are starting to recognize a pattern here. There's a couple patterns. First pattern is this. We've got this line right here. You are traveling in wherever you're traveling at a certain speed, miles per hour, and need a specific gear. Okay, so let's look at this. This is going to be repeated all the way through all of these, right? This is all the way through all of these and the ones that I haven't even done yet, because remember, we haven't got to land or sea. So what you should first start to recognize is you should say, this is starting to get really repetitious. We're doing the same thing over and over and over again, because the output is going to be the same with a couple little changes here and there. The second thing that you should recognize is, man, this is kind of a pain in the butt. It's really hairy to have to go through and change each and every one of these. Even if we are copying and pasting, there's a lot of room to make mistakes, okay? And to check every single thing, it's kind of hard. So what we want to do is we want to use variables. And here's the idea behind this. We've got this statement right here, okay? And we're going to use this one statement. I'm just going to copy it, Command C, okay? And then I'm going to comment it out. We're going to get rid of that. Also, I don't need this sys.out.println I'm in space. We can get rid of that. So we'll remove that. Now with this line that I just copied, I'm going to go down to the very bottom. If you remember, coding actually looks at, first you make your declarations, then you make your assignments, and assignments qualifies as user input. Then you perform your calculations, which is kind of what we're doing right here, and then you display your output. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this out of if. We've seen that plenty. And what I am going to do is I'm going to print this line right here. sys.out.println, you are in wherever we're located, traveling, whatever speed we're traveling, miles per hour, and need the Enterprise. That's good, because now what that means I can do is I can just go up here and we'll go ahead and we're just going to get rid of that line altogether. Okay? And while we're at it, might as well get rid of this line too, right? Say, why are you getting rid of this line? You'll see. We're just going to use space and to make it a point, and then we'll start to move on with the rest of them. So now if I compile, And I must have did something wrong. Ah, yes, there's part of our errors for our areas for making a mistake. We'll compile that. So, copying and pasting, while it is good, if you got to do it 16, 23 times, it can be bad as well. So we want to find a better way. This is our better way. No matter what, no matter where we're traveling, or how fast we're going, we're going to get this basic output message. Okay. So now if I compile, and we're just going to use space right now, we're going to click Run. And I'm going to enter in, so we're going to enter in a location of space. And for our space, we're going to click OK, and then we're going to enter a speed. My speed is going to be 450. And 450 says, you are in space traveling 450 miles. By the way, look at these errors in the output, okay, that I would have copied and pasted all through the rest of my code. Okay, I am traveling in space, traveling 450 miles per hour, and need the Enterprise. This actually works. Well, first, let's go ahead and let's clean up a couple of the errors that we have, just to make, yeah, let's go ahead. We'll get these. So first, I'm going to fix this error right here, traveling in, and we'll put a traveling, and then miles per hour. So now that's fixed. So now if I compile and run this, and we'll use space again. So there's our space, and 450. And so now our output, you are traveling in space, you are in space traveling 450 miles per hour and need the Enterprise. Well, this is right. We still need to fix that in. We can go back and fix that because we still have one more problem. And if we run it again, ready for this? Of course, we're going to enter something under 300. So we'll still be in space. And again, this would apply to air any place else. We're just looking at space. This time we're traveling 200 miles an hour. And you are traveling in space, or you are in space traveling 200 miles per hour and need the Enterprise. Well, of course, the Enterprise is wrong. We need the space shuttle. So watch this. This is where we're going to use variables to our power. First thing, let's get rid of this capital I and N. We'll fix that. Next thing we're going to do is we are going to do this. We've got this last string, string gear. And what we want to do is we just want to assign string gear a value. So if the speed, we'll just go str gear equals Enterprise. Now we'll take this same variable, and this time, remember where there used to be a message box, we're going to assign it a new value. And we're going to assign string gear space shuttle. Okay, so there's our space shuttle, and we're going to go through and we're going to do this with the rest of our code, at least for air right now. So we're going to replace the sys.out.println, and we just want it to be Tomcat. Look how much cleaner our code is. Tomcat, this will be prop plane. We'll just make that prop. And hot air. Some say I am full of. And better spell that right too. And the last one's going to be crash. So look how nice and cozy our code has really become. Okay, we're going to be crash, capital crash right there. All right, so now, and we're not worried about land or sea yet, but now you saw all the mistakes we had. So now we can clean this all up. As a matter of fact, I keep saying you are traveling. So we're going to put traveling. That's why I just want to read it. I don't know why. Traveling in where at, we'll just replace that, 100 miles an hour. So look, now I made one change. This is the only output that I have to change. I changed this one time. Oh, we need one more thing. We forgot this, of course. Now we want to use our last variable, which is string gear. So now whenever we run this, what did I do wrong there? Ah, forgot that. There we go. So now we compile. And one more error. What's my error down here? str gear. Oh, good. I'm glad we caught this error. We have a might not have been initialized error. Well, you say to yourself, you say, well, look, it's been initialized here and here and here. Initialized means it hasn't been assigned a value. And you say it's been assigned a value all over the place. How could it say it has not been assigned a value? Well, Java is smart enough to know to say, look, these are all in if statements. We might not ever get to this if statement. Okay, so this if statement is hit. There's no guarantee that it's going to be assigned hot air or prop plane or Tomcat or crash. Okay, it might actually get down to this line without ever being assigned a value. Well, we can't have that. That's an initialization error. So to fix that initialization error, all we need to do is go up here and make sure that string gear is assigned a value. And that's all you got to do. We're assigning it just an empty string, no value at all. Might as well do the same thing for where because it's a string as well. Okay. And we're going to compile and run it. And the reason we didn't get it for where is because no matter what, every situation Java recognizes, it has been assigned a value. So now we're going to do air, and we'll click OK, and we'll give it a speed of 77, and there's our output. You are traveling in air at 77 miles per hour and need the prop. Okay, I'm going to do prop plane. There, fix that. And that's it. So now we're using variables to condense our code, make it more readable, and make it more manageable. Okay? One line will also take out, while I'm down here, just take out that location. We know that works.